Hi, this is Patty Hodge, and this is Dr. Nurse's Rock. And this is one video in a series of 30 videos on the topic of grief that we're producing throughout the month of April in honor of the 10th anniversary of the passing of a loved one. And today's very special guest is Mel Erickson, who I'm very delighted to invite to this channel. Mel is a grief counselor, retired. She's worked with children who are grieving for over 40 years. And she is an author, and her bio is in her works and on her website. But I'm going to let her tell you about her work. Her website is called kidtalkgrief.com, where you'll find a lot of this information. So, welcome, Mel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice to have you here. So, your curriculum, you developed a curriculum for children who are grieving, and this was faith-based. So,
Yeah.
how did that come about?
Well, at age of 4, my caregiver grandparent died, and my brother was killed when I was 12. When I was 16, my dad died. So I was a grieving child.
Yes, ma'am.
And our precious firstborn son died at age 15, leaving 2 grieving siblings, ages 10 and 5. So I was highly motivated to learn how to support grieving children. It is my passion. And so over the years, trial and error and gleaming ideas from a whole lot of workshops and books, put together the curriculum to help children tell their story, to navigate grief, to externalize their feelings. And in 2012, when I joined a church that offers the Grief Share program, COVID came along. I was stuck at home. And so I wrote down the curriculum and published it on Amazon. And it's called Kid Talk, a faith-based curriculum for grieving children. And it is now being implemented all across the country. It's very flexible because I was in hospital settings and public schools for years. So the curriculum can be adapted to the profile of the child and the environment, etc. There's over 9 dozen, I think, activities, interactive activities to build relationship and help children externalize feelings and acquire tools to help them move through their own grieving process. And those tools are usable for a lifetime, actually. Have grown-ups saying, this is good for us.
Yes.
Because it is.
I absolutely agree. I did take a look at your curriculum. You were kind enough to send me those links. And I said, well, this could help anybody, really. But because it's fascinating, and there's so many activities, as you said, over 9 dozen, I think you said.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you have a special, almost, what do we call those things? Cheat sheets, 12 tips for kids going
12
through
simple
grief.
tips and tools to help your
Yes.
grieving child. I realized after I wrote the curriculum, which, it covers 2-hour sessions, 14 weeks in a row. And that's just too much for a grieving parent brain. And so I wrote a very simple, short, 12 simple tips and tools to help your grieving child, which is really like a fireside chat with parents or grandparents or anyone who's working with a grieving child.
Yeah.
Because we really don't know what to do. How can I help my child? Well, there you go.
I wish I had known about your program 10 years ago, because I did all of this blind, basically, walking in the household with 2 boys. So your history with grief obviously is extensive, and you just turned that right around to help other people. And I'm finding that has happened a lot, that people who have suffered want to alleviate the suffering of other people. So I find that so admirable, and I'm so grateful that you sat down and did this work, not because COVID was around, but because it needed to be done. It needed to be
Thank you.
done to help people. So, if people are going to start, you're very graciously offering this these links in the description here of this website, but also if people email you and say, I saw you on Dr. Nurse's Rock with Patty, you'll send them the links as well if they miss this. But that's
Yep.
very gracious of you. I I would like to just go through the exercises personally. A lot of them
It's
are,
fun.
yeah. It seems like a lot of fun. I'm going to look at it now. I wish I could share this with my technology skills are not that great, but I can do some things. And if one of these days you'll come back and maybe we could show people, share the screen with them and you can show them some of the activities. But for now, they can go to your website and they can see what you're offering. And and again to Amazon.com. I'm assuming the books are still available there and the hardcover.
Yes. Yes.
So, in 40 years, you have helped, I would say, thousands of children, possibly.
I would say.
Yeah. When when you meet a child that's grieving, what is the first thing that you do?
Interesting question. Um, at our first session of Kid Talk, in fact, the flow of working with children for 14 weeks, and let me say that is a privilege. Um, we teach school counselors all of these tools, but they have, if they're blessed, a half hour to work with a group of kids. They don't
Yeah.
have 2 hours. So, but the flow is to make friends, to build a trust relationship and a sense of bonding. And so our activities in the first couple of sessions are exactly that. And the kids feel comfortable being with other kids who get it and grown-ups who get it and who accept them just as they are. And that's a lovely process right there. And so we do have fun. And most often our kids say, I didn't know this was going to be fun. I don't care how old we are, we learn through play.
Exactly that. Yes.
Yeah,
And that's been said a couple of times here on this channel.
I
Um,
bet.
yeah.
I bet. Yeah,
I think it's key in all walks of life to be able to play.
yeah,
So the first thing that you do is you make friends and let them know they're not alone
absolutely.
and develop that support system with them, with other children.
Yeah,
We had a mutual acquaintance. I think you know him better than I do, but Dr. Bob Bauer was here, and he'll be here again before the series is done.
good.
And he talked about how kids go through the school and they meet one another and they work it out together, their grief together. But this is a more structured system that you have,
It is.
more intentional.
Absolutely.
And I think that it gives them, a time and a space that's set where they can work on these issues specifically. So in 14 weeks, you must see an evolution in a child.
And a privilege that is. We see children transform. We've had children tell their parents they didn't want to go on vacation because they didn't want to miss grief talk, kid talk. Yeah.
Ah,
So, it is so gratifying, because once the trust is there, and the children are so sweet and caring with each other, um, they become kids again, and they
yes.
have tools that they know they can use anytime. Um, and we have fun doing that. We do a lot of externalizing, expressing feelings and emotions, and particularly love, because love doesn't turn off like a faucet when someone we love dies.
Right.
So we paint rocks, and we make memory boxes. We do an acrostic about ourselves in the beginning, and then about our decedent, our person who died. Almost every activity, even our snack, ties back to the theme for the evening.
I'm going to come to your classes just because.
Okay.
Now you are retired from your regular work, but you're still doing this work with children.
Yes,
Yeah.
have a group tonight, and our theme tonight is gratitude, and gratitude is an antidote to emotional pain. And I use an empty frame, and we hold it around our faces and talk about how we can reframe our point of view or our feelings. And of course, we're always talking about how feelings are fickle and thoughts we can control.
Right.
And on we go. Lots and lots of metaphors.
And it's also practical. And again, I think everybody can benefit from it, child and adult. So I'm definitely uh, s- promoting this in any way that I possibly can for you.
I thank you for that.
I wish that, um, you know, I too had many griefs as a child. We all do, and they don't always get named. And we carry these things throughout our lives if they don't get addressed properly. But it's never too late to address these issues and to recognize when you're in grief and that there are things that you can do about it. And I'm grateful to see some of the activities that you suggested are things that I talked about in the rituals video earlier on in the month. It was not a great big offering, but it was several things that people could do
Good.
to sit and remember their loved one. And when a child is grieving, they don't seem to hang on to things as long as an adult might. Is that
They
right?
recycle. Children recycle. And it's going to recycle in the teen years. Any profound loss before the age of 10 is going to be recycling in the teen years. So that's why I'm adamant, passionate about working with children, because it can deter some negative responses, depression, acting out, risk taking, problems with schoolwork and motivation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Well, is it too personal to ask about your story? How did you get this help when you were grieving with all those losses?
That's a good question. When I was a kid, I'm 83. It was a
God bless
long
you.
time ago.
I'm catching up.
And the assumption was kids bounce back.
Yeah.
But kids don't bounce back. I remember when my brother died, um, I was 12. I'd find my dad sobbing in the garage, working on the boat that he and my brother were building together. And my feelings were, it should have been me that died because daddy really loved Donnie. And, that's not true. That's something that needs to be reframed, for
Exactly.
example.
Yeah.
Um, I was raised in a family of faith, and so I think that's part of it. And I think I was fortunate to grow through, and a lot of it I've worked through as an adult.
Yes. Yes.
Um, a loss before the age of 10 is profound and lifetime impact. And it wasn't until I was in training to become a grief counselor that I realized, oh my goodness, Grandma Stock dying when I was 4 had the profound impact of making me feel that I wasn't important because I wasn't included in the family story. They thought, it was too much for me to deal with, I guess. Didn't need all the facts, I only knew she was in the hospital and disappeared.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's it's important for me to teach adults to include children in the story. It's their story too. And our theme is we're in this together. There isn't anything we can't talk about, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to make it through. And of course, as a person of faith, we stand on God's promises because they don't change. Everything changes, feelings change in a blink. God's promises don't change, and we can stand on those. We can hang on to them. That's where our hope is and our strength, in my opinion.
Well, your opinion matters. And
Thank you.
I'm grateful that you shared it with me and with our viewers. And everyone is entitled to their own opinion, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
like a lot of evidence-based stuff here on Dr. Nurse's Rock, and all evidence points to a benevolent creator in my mind who wants to love us.
I agree.
And so these children sit for 2 hours. They do activities. They do this for 14 weeks. Some of them don't want to go on vacation because they don't want to miss this group. And in the end, they have a whole toolbox of activities that they can use for the rest of their days if they choose. Anytime.
Some more than others, of
Yeah.
course, and age makes a huge difference.
What what age? Talk a little bit about that.
Ideally, 6 to 12.
Okay.
Right now, I have a group with two very young 6-year-olds and two 14-year-olds. Oh my goodness. But guess what? There's 10 kids, it's working. The young ones see role models in the older ones who focus and pay attention and do the work when we're, knuckling down to work on our story memory books. And the older ones appreciate the frankness, the lack of edit buttons in the young ones.
Yeah.
And they become friends, and the older ones help the young ones, and the young ones admire and are delighted to be friends with the older one. It just works.
Mel, if people have children who have just experienced a loss and they don't have access to your materials right now at this moment, but they might tune into this video for some reason, what would you tell them? How would you address that grief in them, their children right now?
First of all, I would say my heart goes out to you. This is a strangely, profoundly, words are inadequate, difficult time to navigate. And as you love your child and don't even have the resources within yourself to be normal because normal's gone, know that what your child needs is love. Love is a verb. And when we act loving, the feelings can follow. Children need the truth. They can handle almost anything as long as it's the truth and they're supported in love. And if you can't be a caring presence in any given moment because your own pain is so demanding, find a neighbor or a relative, a loved one who can be that caring presence for the child. Because children do grieve too. They grieve incrementally in little bits, extreme pain and eating an ice cream on the swing.
Yes.
Back and forth, back and forth. So it's a matter of being a caring presence in the moments when the pain comes up. And it's important to externalize that pain, to express it, and to give it words. And so many people don't have words for the feelings. That's one of the important things we do in Kid Talk is give the children language to express what they're feeling, not just activities. We can smash ice cubes on the sidewalk. Oh boy, does that feel good. We throw globbles against the wall and make a feeling statement. I hate cancer. Whop. And if it hits the picture we drew, that's really cool. And always, sometimes, well, yeah, depending on how old the kid is and how good anyway, we want to externalize those feelings.
Okay.
And give the children opportunity to do that. Bob Bauer taught me a poem years ago, and I say it wrong, but it goes like this. Tears on the outside fall to the ground and are slowly swept away. Tears on the inside fall on the soul and stay and stay and stay.
Oh dear. Yeah.
And that's a profound truth. And we start week 1 with that because the theme of our very second week is tears. Tears are okay. Tears are important. Tears are liquid antiseptic for a broken heart. So it's important for families to know tears are okay. We include the book Tear Soup in our curriculum because it's such a great metaphor for tears, for everyone processing differently because we are unique and we don't handle our pain or feel our pain necessarily the same way.
Yeah. Mel, I can't tell you what a big gift you are to me right this moment. These 30 days of collecting information and sharing tools and sharing stories with people has had a profound impact on me, but also
Yeah.
on some people who have not had enough courage to leave a comment, but tell a friend or whatever, and then I hear about it second or third hand. Um, and of course, this channel is still quite small, so we don't have 30,000, 37,000 followers at this point, but someday maybe. Um, but I trust that the people that need to have this information will receive this information. And so many of the things that you've just shared, I mean, I wish that I had also when I was a young person. I
Me
didn't
too.
have, yeah, I did not have a language for emotions till I was somewhere in my 40s. And someone just handed me a small slip of paper with some emotional names on it, and I was trying to make sense out of it all. So, um, this this whole idea of addressing grief early as a nurse is important to me because I want preventive medicine, basically. I want people to take charge of their own life, and take charge of what's happening inside of them and in their with their loved ones come to some kind of healing. And grief is the one thing we can't escape as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
We're all going to experience some loss
that's
at
right.
some time.
That's
And
right.
so this opportunity to meet people, to hear their stories, to see how they've brought that to help other people in the world, I feel very blessed. And I feel immense gratitude. And one of the things that I have done repeatedly here is when someone has come to talk is invite you back.
Sure.
So I know in the beginning we shared a little bit that this was the first time you'd ever done this. As
Indeed.
and for me, it's the first time I ever did like 30 things in a row, basically 30 videos in a row. And this YouTube channel just came to fruition in January last year, 2025. And it
Good
came
for you.
out of meditation. I'm 70 years old. And I decided that I was worried about the world and I wanted to do something to bring some healing for people. And it took me a year to learn the technology. So here we are.
Way to go.
But what I can say about Kid Talk is I think it's a wonderful program. Uh, if people would just go to your website and take a look, we found it before, kidtalkgrief.com. I will put what you've given me permission to put in the links here to your curriculum and to your 12 simple tips and tools. And I invite people to please let both Mel and I know that you found this information here because it would help us to know what you're watching and what is helpful. And once we find someone who's good for us here on Dr. Nurses Rock, you become part of our tribe.
Gladly. Gladly. Patty, let me tell you, FYI,
Yes.
that going to the resource section of my website, and I'm going to give you that URL separately. It's in the book, of course, but because people can print out 32 feelings cards.
Okay.
And they're marvelous. And for communicating with children. They're wonderful. And people can go print those out. They're PDFs, download them, print them, laminate them, use them with the kids in your life.
It's a wonderful idea and so gracious of you. And know that you have done wonderful work here in the world.
Thank you.
And it's recognized. And
Thank you, Pat.
I'm grateful for you. And so Mel, I guess maybe it's time to say bye for now.
Okay.
And with the promise that you'll be back someday to talk more.
I'm 83. So I'd love to keep that promise.
I would love for you to keep that promise. We'll hold you to it. One way
Okay,
or the other, okay?
deal.
Thanks, Mel. Bye for
You
now.
take care.